We're live right now? Okay. Hi, everyone. Jen Dyes here. And guess where I am? I am in the wonderful city of Las Vegas in Nevada. It has been quite a wild ride. Jamal is behind the camera. We've been running around like crazy. We covered the Democratic debate the other night at the Bernie for Nevada watch party. That was exciting. Check out that video. We had lots of interviews up, had a great time. Yesterday, we went to a town hall with Senator Nina Turner, author Naomi Klein, Dr. Victoria Dooley, and former Justice Dems candidate Amy Vilela, who you might have seen in the Knock Down the House documentary. That's on Netflix, which is really cool. Really great stuff. Women for Bernie Town Hall. Check that out for sure. Oh my goodness. We have also been running ourselves ragged. We're so tired. I think Jamal and I finally just said today, we got a good night's sleep. So we're pumped up. We're excited. Tonight, we are actually covering an event, a rally, a caucus rally with Senator Bernie Sanders himself. So that will be really great. But before I get into the news, and boy, do I have some news for you coming out of here in Nevada, some news that might infuriate you. Not just might, I think it probably will infuriate you. I'll give you a hint. It's about Senator Elizabeth Warren. Before we get into all of that, I need you to smash that like button. Smash it like crazy because it helps YouTube. It gets YouTube to show it to other people. It has something to do with their algorithm. Smashing the like button puts it into more people's feeds. Share this on your social media. Share it on your subreddits, your Facebook groups, your Twitter. Share it everywhere so that everyone can see this this reporting. And as I said, we'll be going live later on. We're trying to get some interviews with Latino groups for Bernie, some caucusers for Bernie. So we have a lot of plans in the works. We're kind of firming those up with a variety of people. There's a lot of balls in the air, but it's so great. It's so fun. The energy is fantastic, as I mentioned. So smash that like button. I'll keep reminding you. Also, I really want to let you know, and don't yell at me for fundraising off the top, but I need to let you know that Jordan really wants to be able to go to South Carolina to cover the campaign in the field, to cover the primary in the field. But we are falling short of our membership goals right now. We need to reach 1,500 members by the end of Nevada. So Jordan, text me the number that we need. Text me the number that we need, how far away we are so that I can see that. I need to pull it up on my screen as well. But we are so close. We're I think about 150 members away from reaching 1,500. It's so important. You can join for as little as $5 a month. You might think that's a small amount. It won't really help. I promise you it helps so much. So if it's in your budget at all, then please become a member because that's how we grow. Go to statuscoup.com/join. statuscoup.com/join. Do it right now while you're thinking about it. I really want to see those memberships rolling in. Show us that you care, that we're in Nevada, that we're talking to sources, that we're paying attention to the shenanigans, that we are here reporting the truth. We're at events that you don't see CNN at, you don't see MSNBC at. We are with the people. We truly give the microphone back to the people. So Jordan has updated us. We are 144, so even better than I thought. 144 members away from 1,500 members, which is so amazing. It's such a great goal that we have. I know we can do it. Please join now, statuscoup.com/join. Yay, that's exciting. I'm so glad that we're actually closer than I thought. So not so bad. So 144 of you watching right now. There are more watching, but if you all join, then we'll be there. We'll get there. And then Jordan can go to South Carolina, which, as you know, Jordan in the campaign field is pure fire. You know that he'll get the good stuff. So please join. We really need to reach that goal if we want to have the funding to be able to send Jordan. So let's, I see that we have 103 people watching right now. We really need to get that number up. That's okay. We're still early on in the stream. So I want to start off things with a bit of this infuriating thing that I hinted at before to do with Elizabeth Warren. You may have heard that Elizabeth Warren, previous opponent of super PACs and big money in politics, or so she said as soon as she started her presidential campaign, she now has a super PAC backing her. So this was initially reported by Axios. A group of women progress. So Sign of the Times, a pro-Warren super PAC is the title. And this is by Margaret Tlaib and Alexi McCammond. So this was their original reporting. A group of women progressives who back Senator Elizabeth Warren has formed Persist PAC. What an aptly named Elizabeth Warren thing, right? A super PAC airing pro-Warren ads starting Wednesday in an effort to boost her performance ahead of Saturday's crucial Nevada caucuses, a spokesman told Axios. Why it matters. Warren has spoken adamantly against the influence of unlimited spending and dark money in politics, but these supporters have concluded that before Warren can reform the system, she must win under the rules that exist. Of course they say that. And that whether she likes it or not, their uncoordinated help may be needed to help her to keep her viable through this weekend's contest and into South Carolina and Super Tuesday. So the facts are she's been losing ground, and we saw that she started losing ground actually once she pivoted away from Medicare for All. And that seems to be Elizabeth Warren's new thing, is pivoting away from previously progressive thoughts that she, purported to have as soon as she started this race, because she kind of seemed to want to be a mini Bernie Sanders. The competition for Democrats' attention and votes has only gotten more difficult with billionaire Michael Bloomberg's self-funded run and rise in the polls. And Warren placed third in Iowa and fourth in New Hampshire. And polling now shows her in third in Nevada days before the caucuses, but in striking distance of second. And I actually have a new poll that shows one of these polls shows her in second, which is interesting. The thing about Nevada is that it is very, very difficult to poll, and we'll discuss that more. But the thing is, Bernie Sanders is ahead in all, so Warren seems to be coming all out to try to improve her chances here. And Warren placed third in Iowa and fourth in New Hampshire, and polling now shows her again in third in Nevada. So Persist PAC, the board, and this is something we'll do some more reporting on as we look more into this, but Persist PAC's board includes 4 women in progressive politics, and I'll say progressive politics with air quotes because these women are just your typical establishment corporate Democrats. They are not at all progressive. So I believe one of them is former Emily's List, and one of them is former DCCC. So definitely not your progressive non-establishment people. These are very much establishment folks. So Denise Fariazzi, Christine Kippens, Karen Johansson, and Kim Rogers. So right now they have released a 30-second ad called Persist that has been running in Nevada, and it features images of Warren with President Obama. Of course, that's sort of a Biden move to have your, kind of correlate yourself with President Obama to try to win those votes. With whom she worked to establish the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Women and Children, protesters' hands with Stop Kavanaugh scribbled in pen, and President Trump. And so the whole thing is kind of saying that she's not that rich candidate. They're contrasting her with the wealthier candidates out there. When you don't grow up rich, you learn how to work, a female narrator says. When you take on Wall Street, you know how to fight. She'll take him on and win. And it's not like Elizabeth Warren definitely has a lot of money. Let's not get that wrong. But she did not grow up rich, so they are definitely focusing in on that point. Spokesman Joshua Karp said the ad buy exceeds $1 million. He declined to detail the group's budget or identify sources of funding. Senator Warren is the best candidate to take on Donald Trump, which that is not what we have seen in polling or in sentiment at all. But, the super PAC is, of course, all in and all about Warren, so they're going to say what they're going to say. And we're going to ensure primary voters and caucus goers hear her message. So flashback. Warren told her rivals during the February 7th Democratic presidential debate in New Hampshire that everyone on the stage except Amy Klobuchar and me is either a billionaire or is receiving help from PACs that can do unlimited spending, which is a definite smear, a direct smear against Bernie Sanders. She's trying to say that our revolution is a super PAC, which it is not, and it is not running these ads like this new Persist PAC is doing. And if the others meant what they said about wanting to reduce unlimited spending and special interests, they should just put your money where your mouth is and say no to the PACs. Saying no to the PACs. What a novel idea, Elizabeth Warren. Except for now, you are not at all saying no to the PACs. So Senator Warren's campaign said, Senator Warren's position hasn't changed. I mean, what world are we living in? It literally changed. Her position on accepting super PAC support literally changed. He goes on to say, since day one of this campaign, she has made clear that she thinks all of the candidates should lock arms together and say we don't want super PACs and billionaires to be deciding our Democratic nominee. So they go on to talk about Amy Klobuchar, which is a story for another day. But there we have it. Elizabeth Warren has a super PAC, or one that's supporting her, Persist PAC. So there are a lot of thoughts that I have about this, of course. It doesn't surprise me. Elizabeth Warren seems to have made her new thing flip-flopping. She's flip-flopped on Medicare for All. She's become a total flip-flopper. And this is something that I've talked a lot about. Elizabeth Warren doesn't have any convictions. She's a politician through and through, which for progressives is very disappointing and very discouraging, because back in 2016, even when she declined to support Bernie Sanders in that race, even when she didn't make it down to Standing Rock in support, and I could make a snarky little joke there about what she should have done, seeing as what she thought about her own heritage, but I'll decline to do that for now. But anyway, we all thought, or a lot of progressives thought, that she still had it in her, to be anti-corruption, especially when it came to money in politics. We thought she had it in her to be actually progressive. But it turns out, and as we're seeing now, she's just another politician. She doesn't truly hold these progressive policies. And if she ever did, then she's willing to step away from them whenever her advisors think it might look good for her in the race. So she's not sticking to Medicare for All, not truly. Her rollout plan is horrendous. Her plan in general, in my opinion, is not good at all. Bernie Sanders is the only true Medicare for All candidate. And now we have her not trying to keep money out of politics, and she can say, oh, all the others are doing it, it's fine, all she wants. But that's not how you run a race, and that's not how Bernie Sanders is running his race, even if she's trying to smear him to make it look like that's the case. So I had the privilege yesterday of interviewing Senator Nina Turner, who is Bernie Sanders' campaign co-chair, and I asked her this question, what she kind of thought about this flip-floppery. So let's take a look at what I asked her and what her answer is. One second here. Jen Dye is here with Senator Nina Turner. How are you doing today?
Wonderful. How are you, Jen?
I'm doing well, and we just got done. You just did a Women for Bernie Climate Change Town Hall. The enthusiasm in the room was great. It went really, really well. It recently came out that she has a super PAC that is supporting her, and she is not, in fact, disavowing this PAC as she has pledged to do. And she has said today, if all the candidates, or this was in the debate actually, if all the candidates want to get rid of super PACs, count me in, I'll lead the charge. But that's how it has to be. It can't be the case that a bunch of people keep them and only one or two don't.
Do you want the super PAC supporting you to stand? Do you want the super PAC supporting you to stand down?
So look, the first day I got in this race over a year ago, I said I hope every presidential candidate who comes in will agree. No super PACs for any of us. I renewed that call dozens of times, and I couldn't get a single Democrat to go along with me. Finally, we reached the point a few weeks ago where all of the men who were still in this race and on the debate stage all had either super PACs or they were multi-billionaires and could just, rummage around in their sock drawers and find enough money to be able to fund a campaign. And the only people who didn't have them were the two women. And at that point, there are some women around the country who said, that's just not right. So here's where I stand. If all the candidates want to get rid of super PACs, count me in. I'll lead the charge. But that's how it has to be. It can't be the case that a bunch bunch of people keep them and only one or two don't.
Her website still says that she would disavow super PACs if it comes down to it. She accused Bernie Sanders of having super PAC support. She said previously, at a previous debate, that she and Amy Klobuchar were the only candidates who did not. What do you have to say about that?
Senator Bernie Sanders does not have a super PAC. Senator Bernie Sanders is raising his money $18 at a time. We have over 6 million donations into this campaign of everyday people across this nation who are giving their money because he believes that they're going to change their material conditions or fight like hell to change those conditions, which he is. Senator Sanders is doing this thing a new way. We need real campaign finance reform in this country, and I am glad that he had the courage not to wait on others, but that he is blazing a trail in this, and he started it in 2016. And I remember people not believing he was serious about running for president because people really, how can you in this climate raise money that way and not ask the millionaire class or the billionaire class not to have to grovel, not to have super PACs? How are you going to do it? And guess what? He did just fine. He was able to compete. Believe the campaign raised about $230 million that election cycle. He was able to compete, showing very clearly that his only special interests are people like Mr. and Mrs. Jones in Denmark, South Carolina, people like Maria, people like Kwame, people like John and Joe, people like Jane, people like Victoria Dooley. Those are the kinds of people that Senator Sanders is standing up for, and he's showing it through his actions. He's not just talking the talk, he's walking the walk. Somebody has to blaze that trail. We need real campaign finance reform in this country. It pollutes our representative democracy, the way that candidates raise money in this country, and we're never going to have true democracy as long as people continue to depend on those sources to raise money. The more money you have, the more voice. That's why we have somebody like Mayor Bloomberg out there just flat out trying to buy the democracy, because he's worth $60 billion and he can afford to wake up and say, oh, guess I'll run for president, and fund his entire candidacy that way. That's not the way that we should run. And so I'm really proud of Senator Bernie Sanders for running the campaign the way that he is and raising the money the way that he is raising it.
With Senator Warren previously running kind of on an anti-corruption platform, this kind of flip-floppery, if as people are calling it, happened also with Medicare for All. Is she that progressive candidate that she purported to be, the almost Bernie that she purported to be?
Senator Sanders is that candidate. You know, I'm not going to get into Senator Warren. Folks will have to ask her and her campaign as to why she has had a change of heart. But what I can say is that Senator Bernie Sanders has been steadfast in his belief for Medicare for all. He hasn't capitulated one iota. He said that it is a moral right in this country, and you can't argue against a moral right. As you notice, we talked about it out there, and Naomi Klein was very clear. And her point, well taken, some things should not be commodified. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but healthcare should not be commodified. It is a right that we should have in this country, and we definitely have to stand up strong for that. It's something you can't hedge on that. This is about life and death. Dr. Victoria Dooley gave us a heartbreaking example of that at the end, where she talked about her patient who was a college student and was having some depression. His parents' health care didn't work where he was. It worked in Michigan, but it didn't work where he was. And that ultimately, the end of the story is that this young man ended up committing suicide. So we are not exaggerating when we say that having health care in this country is about life or death. So I'm really glad that Senator Bernie Sanders is standing firm on what he believes in.
Thank you very much for your time, as always.
Thank you so much.
Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com, where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.
There we have it. The great Senator Nina Turner herself. Let me turn this over. So what we heard from Senator Nina Turner was not a direct answer. And at first I was kind of disappointed. I understood, of course she doesn't want to kind of talk smack about Elizabeth Warren. Bernie Sanders is doing well right now. He's the leader in the polls in Nevada. He's leading nationally by far. So she doesn't really want to rock the boat. But talking about, others will have to ask about her change of heart is very, very telling. Clearly, Elizabeth Warren is having a change in heart. She's not sticking to her guns. And so very eloquently, I think, Senator Nina Turner answered that in the best way that she could. And it is news in and of itself that she said that others will have to ask Elizabeth Warren exactly why she's pivoting away from this. And I would love to get the chance to ask Elizabeth Warren that question myself. I would love to get the chance. So if I do, I certainly will. So that's why we need you guys to please help keep us in the field. Join as a member, statuscoup.com/join. We have, how many people do we have watching? We have over 400 people watching. Smash that like button so more people see this reporting, this in-field reporting. Jamal and I are working our tails off, working all the time like crazy. We're here in Las Vegas, but we're not hitting the slot machines. We are running around, getting the news, gathering information from sources. So please smash that like button, share this on all your social channels. I just got word, I think we're going to have Jordan call in a little bit later to get some of his takes and opinions on this. So stay tuned for that. Also, you can really, really help support us with Super Chats. Super Chats are fun. Super Chat stickers, whatever you want. Ask questions. I want to say thank you so much to Wendy Melly for her Super Chat. I assume her, whoever. Wendy Melly, we love you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the on the field reporting status coup. Give them hell in Nevada. We certainly will. I promise you that. We also have a Super Chat from Imagine Bull 17. If everyone else does it, then I'll lead the way. I don't think it works that way. Exactly. And so this speaks to, is Elizabeth Warren truly a leader? If you're a leader, like you could say Bernie Sanders is, he's a leader on anti-corruption, on not accepting corporate cash. If you're a leader, then you lead. You don't follow. What Elizabeth Warren is talking about here is following. She's talking about, well, if everyone does it, then I'll do it. That's not a leader. Is that someone that resonates with people as a president? No, and I don't think so. And I think with her flip-flopping, it puts a lot of doubt in people's minds, and I think that that's going to make her lose support. Now, she did have a really, really good debate the other night, so some people are speculating, okay, she might get a bump from that. It might do really well for her. She came out with some well-landed attacks against Amy Klobuchar and others, Bloomberg. So we'll see how that shakes out. But when people see her flip-flopping and not sticking to her guns, I don't know that they're going to, especially these progressive candidates that would have otherwise gone for Bernie, I don't know that they're going to stick with her. So I find that really interesting. And it's also really interesting, for lack of a better word, that she continues to attack Bernie Sanders. And I have another clip pulled up for you, 1 second here, where she is indeed continuing these attacks here. 1 second. So this is on MSNBC with Lawrence O'Donnell. Let's take a listen to what she says here and listen for what she says about Bernie.
We're tight. We got less than a minute left. What I'm hearing from a lot of voters in California, millions of whom have their mail-in ballots at home right now, they're trying to decide between Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. What's the single policy point or the single point you would argue to them in making that decision?
I get real stuff done. I have rock solid values and I get stuff done. I get hard stuff done. I fought for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, got that thing enacted and set it up over the space of a year. I can work across the aisle when I need to. I've got a big hearing aid bill that I got through while Donald Trump was president, got it through on a bipartisan basis. And next year, people are going to be able to buy hearing aids over the counter, save them millions of dollars. I don't want to be president just to yell at people. I want to be president to change things. That's why I'm going there.
Okay, let's listen one more time because that's a really quick one.
Senator, we're tight. We got less than a minute left. What I'm hearing from a lot of voters in California, millions of whom have their mail-in ballots at home right now, they're trying to decide between Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. What's the single policy point or the single point you would argue to them in making that decision?
I get real stuff done. I have rock solid values and I get stuff done. I get hard stuff done. I fought for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, got that thing enacted and set it up over the space of a year. I can work across the aisle when I need to. I've got a big hearing aid bill that I got through while Donald Trump was president, got through on a bipartisan basis. And next year, people are going to be able to buy hearing aids over the counter, save them millions of dollars. I don't want to be president just to yell at people. I want to be president to change things. That's why I'm going there.
Are you hearing what I'm hearing? I cannot believe what Elizabeth Warren is going around saying. Obviously, I can believe it. It is a presidential campaign. She's proven herself to be a true politician in possibly one of the worst senses of the word. But she's saying that she actually gets stuff done. You know who actually gets stuff done? It is Bernie Sanders. There's a reason he's called the Amendment King. And yeah, she did some good work with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, but that doesn't negate the important things that Bernie Sanders has done. And for her to say that she doesn't just go around yelling about things, well, I'm sorry, we should all be yelling. I understand why Bernie Sanders is yelling. It's because the country is corrupt. We live in an oligarchy. It's not a country for the people anymore. And maybe it never was, truly. Not all, it certainly never was for all people. It certainly never was for Black and brown people. So Bernie Sanders, if you talk about getting nothing done, he has moved an entire Democratic field more left. He brought Medicare for all into the national conversation. He brought free public college into the national conversation. $15 minimum wage, Bernie Sanders. Now, he's not the only one. He did this by listening to organizers on the ground, by listening to people. And that's what he does, is he listens to people. He understands what's going on. He was the one getting arrested for civil rights protests back in his college days. You're talking about someone who doesn't get things done. He's gotten a lot done in the Senate. He's gotten a lot done as mayor of Burlington. But he's gotten way more done than any of these people for the good of this country by moving the conversation left. We have massive nationwide support now for Medicare for all. That's because of Bernie Sanders. Bernard Sanders did that with that conversation. And he did that because he has a movement behind him of real people, of working class people, of Black and brown people, of poor people, of people who actually make up the fabric of this country. It's not all about what you get done in government. And so she loses on both counts. I can't think of anyone who has moved the conversation more left and more progressive and more populist in a good way, not in a Donald Trump sort of populist message, the fake populism there, but in a real way, in a way that's actually going to help people of this country. So for Elizabeth Warren to go on MSNBC and say this is completely ridiculous. I think it's not convincing anyone at all. And for her little jab about yelling, let's all get out there and yell. Everyone should be yelling. Because the powerful have taken over completely, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. So yelling is a good thing. Passion is a good thing. And Elizabeth Warren doesn't have that passion. No, she's not yelling because she doesn't actually have any convictions. That's why she's not yelling. So Elizabeth Warren, I don't know what you think you're doing. I know you had a good debate night. I don't know how far that's going to take you, but these attacks are simply absurd and ridiculous. And I assume they're going to get worse and worse. She's attacked Bernie Sanders supporters on being mean and on, saying Bernie hasn't done enough to disavow any meanness. I'm sorry some people have been mean online. And yes, some people have crossed the line, but we don't know that those are truly Bernie supporters. We don't know who those people are. And Bernie addressed this really, really well at the debate, so definitely catch that clip if you haven't seen it yet. I don't know. There are no words. There are no words here. Smash that like button, keep it coming. So it's the little thumbs up button right underneath the video. If you're on mobile, then simply close out the live chat briefly and you'll see the thumbs up button. It really, really helps. Takes just a second. Share this stream on all your feeds, all your groups, everywhere online. We definitely need to get the word out. We have some super chats that have come in. We have 415 watching. As long as my phone isn't delayed, there might be more. We have, let me read these super chats. If I'm looking at my phone, it's because I'm either keeping up with texts from Jordan, with breaking news sorts of things, and or looking at the super chat. So Leslie Wheeler, $10 in the super chat. Thank you so much. The DNC changing the rules to facilitate Bloomberg should be a felony. What can we do to take away his platform? Him being in the race at this point should be illegal. So I agree with you. The DNC should have never changed the rules. It's absurd. It's so transparent. It's ridiculous. They didn't change the rules to allow Julian Castro or Tulsi Gabbard in the debate. They didn't change the rules to have Cory Booker qualify. So they changed the rules for a billionaire, for a white old billionaire. That's why they changed the rules. And it's absurd. As far as him being in the race at this point, it should be illegal. Well, I think the fact that it's possible for a billionaire to literally attempt to and maybe succeed in buying the election, that should absolutely be illegal. There should be many rules against this to prevent this from ever happening. It's absurd. So I completely agree with you, Leslie. Let's see. We have some other super chats. Keep them coming. Ada Martinez, thank you. $2 in the super chat. Solid values. Yeah, right. I know. It's crazy. Let's see. Seth Peterson, as always. Seth, you are just so incredible. I cannot thank you enough. Just amazing. This constant support helps us so much. Just thank you. And Seth says, thanks for being in the field, Jen and Jamal. Status Coup is the only ones doing real in the field reporting, independent of giant corporations. Thank you so much. And that's our whole goal. That's the reason why we're here. Is because of your support and because no one else is doing it in this way. Now, I will say there are other good independent media who are running around here doing good work. We do things in a way that's different from most, though, and I think that's important to realize, and that's our whole mission. Our mission is to give the microphone back to the people. We do investigative reporting, on the ground reporting. And that is what we do. It takes a lot of money to do what we do. And we're a startup. We don't have funding from corporations. We don't have any shady money coming in. Even some of the outlets that I really like that are, they call themselves independent, they have outside funding, and that's okay depending on who their funding's coming from. But we are truly funded by the people, for the people. So thank you. Keep those super chats coming. Join as a member, statuscoup.com/join. I have a great announcement. Welcome to new member Jason. Yay, Jason. Woo! I wish Anat were here to scream for real. But thank you so much for joining. We love you so much. Please keep it coming. Be awesome like Jason and join. Statuscoup.com/join. Very exciting. And we are 144 members away. Love that. So exciting. Actually, so now 100 and probably 143, I think, because Jordan texted me that one earlier. I am so excited. This is great. We're definitely going to reach 1,500. It's going to take your support. If you haven't joined, please join. Be amazing like Jason. Please, statuscoup.com/join. And it's not because, as I said, we're definitely not hitting the slots here in Vegas. What we're doing is reporting, running around like crazy, breaking our backs, and just trying to get the news to you. We're trying to do reporting, and we are doing reporting like no one else is. Statuscoup.com/join. I also, today, I uploaded 2 new members videos. One of the videos is from when I had gotten up at 3:30 a.m. to fly out here, and so it's like me really sleepy from the airport in Baltimore. So you can watch that one. The other one I filmed today and uploaded, so I gave you some behind the scenes scoop on some crazy things that have happened so far. So that one's up too. So you get 2 brand new videos as soon as you join, plus all the ones we've uploaded in the past. And Jamal and I are going to keep filming more. We're going to do one together later today and tell you some more behind the scenes stuff. It's so fun. So statuscoup.com/join. Also, Jordan and I are going to do a monthly members call where you can ask us any questions you want and we'll answer them. We usually give some TMI and it's really, really fun. We do it through Zoom. So you get on, the Zoom call. You can either be on video or not. You can ask us questions verbally, in audio or not, or type them in or whatever. We have so much fun. We had a ton of people join. I think it got up to like 80 or 90. So really, really good time. statuscoup.com/join. I want to play a clip for you, and then I'm going to make an announcement about what will happen if you join as a member today and tomorrow. So we have this goal for Nevada. So Jordan and I talked, and we came up with a special plan to give you even more incentive to join. So I'm going to play a video that shows you the kind of on the ground in the field reporting that we do. And Jamal put this together. It's fantastic. And then I will give you the super secret extra special bonus you're going to get if you join as a member today and tomorrow. So join right now while you're watching this, and then you'll learn the surprise too. statuscoup.com/join. 1 second here. Let me pull this up. Let's see here. Okay, take a listen.
Won't win in Michigan and Wisconsin.
Let's back up a little bit. They keep calling him a socialist. Let's talk about party affiliation here really quick before I cap off here.
Preach.
Mike Bloomberg was a Republican mayor who supported George Bush, spoke at the RNC, was one of their keynote speakers, supported the war. Now he's a Democrat running for president.
Because he can beat Trump. So basically, you'd rather have Trump, not rather, but you deal with Trump for another 4 years rather than a leftist candidate.
Yes. Yeah, I would.
But yeah, I heard about that. I'm aware of that, but...
Because you mentioned trust, so he's kind of made up some things. He said he participated in civil rights sit-ins, that he was an active participant, but journalists have shown that wasn't true.
Maybe he learned enough from his mistake in the past.
Who's got less black support at this point than Donald Trump had in 2016. What does that say to you?
That black people are expendable. And this is something I've been saying about the Democratic Party for a very long time. They call black women the firewall, or black women the backbone, then black people are a firewall. But when it really comes to making sure the requisite investments are there, making sure that you stand up and stand firm for the African American community, other people of color, they're not there.
To have Trump than Bernie. That's exactly what she said. She didn't say it in those words, but that's what Biden said when he said he didn't know if he could commit to endorsing Bernie. And on and on and on. And that's why another whole segment of the Democratic Party hack establishment is backing Bloomberg.
But what have you actually accomplished?
Right. And compare that to Bernie, who has accomplished so much, has always been on the right side of history. You got this guy, Pete, who has a paper-thin record, like you just said. And, I wish the media would hold him accountable, but they won't because he's their chosen one. If it's not Buttigieg, it's going to be Bloomberg. They're picking someone that aligns with their interests and their values, and anyone but Bernie is in full effect.
You got to support our independent media.
How much can people join for?
$5, as low as $5 a month, all right? $5 a month, people, all right? Please make it happen, all right? statuscoup.com/join. Do it now. Do it now. Don't wait. Do it now.
Absolutely amazing, wonderful stuff. Thank you so much for making that, Jamal. And you can see that is the kind of reporting that we do. That's the kind of reporting that Jordan has done in the field, that I'm doing in the field right now. So please join us, statuscoup.com/join. Okay, so I know I promised you I'd tell you this new super secret bonus that Jordan and I decided we're adding. If you join today and tomorrow to get us to 1,500 members total, and again, we're 144 members away, Jordan and I will record a special video just for you. We'll call you by name, we'll send it just to you, or you can choose, or we will give you a phone call. So please join. We'll record you a great video just for you, just for your eyes or whatever. You can post it if you want to, but it's just for you, or we'll give you a phone call. So you'll get, personal shout out, personal attention, personal kudos from us if you join today. It'll be really fun. I think we're going to have a lot of fun recording these for people and contacting people. So yeah, it's going to be so fun. So get shout outs from us, just $5 a month. statuscoup.com/join. And you can also cancel at any time. So there's no risk here. Just sign up, get tons of extra bonus content, get tons of we have our monthly member calls, tons of behind the scenes stuff, really, really fun, video diaries, all that. $5 a month, cancel anytime you want. There's no obligation to stay forever. We want you to stay forever and ever, but just join. Yeah. statuscoup.com/join. We are so close. We welcome all of our new members, and please keep it coming. Join. Okay. So let's give Jordan a call, because I want to hear his opinion on this Elizabeth Warren debacle of just going around smearing Bernie Sanders, and what Nina Turner had to say about that. 1 second while we get a hold of him. Hello, Jordan, you're on the air. What do you have to say about this Elizabeth Warren smearing of Bernie Sanders, her new super PAC support, and what Nina Turner had to say?
Well, before we get to that, Jen, I just have to say, I'm already making my travel plans for retirement in the Caribbean, since you're doing such a great job.
Caribbean. Oh, no. We could never lose you to the Caribbean.
Thank you.
Of course.
So, by the way, just so folks know, we are up against, I think Bernie Sanders is live somewhere, wherever he is. So it's always fun when we go live, when Bernie is live. It's like competing with the political Mick Jagger concert.
Yes, exactly.
Hopefully views go up, but keep pressing the share button, all that good stuff. So I think a lot of things about Elizabeth Warren. First of all, I think people need to realize that, like when she stabbed Bernie Sanders in the front a couple weeks ago, calling him a sexist animal, basically, the moves she's making now are out of desperation. It just came out that her campaign is essentially bleeding money, had to take out a $2 million line of credit just to keep going. So hence why she came out during the debate basically going for everybody and their mother. I mean, she went after everybody, she did get a fundraising boost off of that. But unfortunately for her, I think it's too late. I think it's by the time she did that debate, it might end up that the majority of people had already voted in Nevada. Since you're on the ground there, it looks like 70,000 already have voted, early voting, which I'm sure we could get to in a few minutes. So I don't think her latest efforts are really going to make that big of a difference. It might give her a little bounce to get into second place in Nevada, which, if you're a progressive, you want Elizabeth Warren to come in second place in Nevada, because, if Biden doesn't come in second place in Nevada, his campaign is basically on life support. You can't really make his campaign, the whole argument was, forget Iowa, forget New Hampshire, we're now moving to a more diverse states. Well, if you come in third in a state, Nevada is almost 30% Latino, 10% Black, how are you electable? So if you're a Bernie supporter, you might not be happy with Warren at the moment. You want Warren to come into second, because if she comes into second, it is, I never thought it possible. It is possible if Biden comes in third place in Nevada. Bernie Sanders' momentum could really catapult him to potentially win South Carolina. So on Warren, what I think is really fascinating, and I had a little Twitter fight with her Warren surrogate at midnight last night. I might be sick, but I'm still kind of...
You would never have a Twitter fight. No.
So I got into a Twitter fight with one of Warren's top surrogates. His name is Adam Green. And what I don't understand, and I hopefully Bernie's campaign will point this out. If Warren is going to go after Bernie, so be it. It's politics. Obviously, as a Bernie supporter, you don't like it, but this is politics. I'm always advocating Bernie Sanders take off his gloves. So I don't particularly mind her going after Bernie. Obviously, she doesn't have any convictions. Obviously, she's a flip-flopper. Obviously, this whole super PAC thing was never truly a core conviction for her, because let us not forget, she did all the fundraising with the wealthy people in her Senate campaign. She just transferred $10 million of that over to her presidential campaign and then said, oh, look, I don't do big dollar fundraising. Yeah, you just did it 5 minutes before during your Senate campaign. So she obviously is not religious about money in politics like Bernie Sanders is. But the thing that I don't get in the clips that you showed, and the other thing her supporters are arguing, they're making this argument that Elizabeth Warren is the effective progressive. She's the one that actually can get things done. And as I pointed out to her surrogate, that's just not true. And facts actually show the opposite. So if you go through Elizabeth Warren's Senate career, and I know you have, Jen, if you go through her record, her top accomplishment is not even as a senator. It's before she was a senator. I'm not taking anything away from it. Before she was a senator, she lobbied and organized, and she got the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to exist. So she deserves credit for that. Since then, it's kind of become toothless. That's not her fault, but whatever. It's an accomplishment. She got this, Consumer Financial Protection thing passed. But as a senator, she's saying the biggest thing. I mean, Liz, listen, my father has hearing aids. I'll probably need hearing aids at some point. Kudos to you that you got prescription or over-the-counter hearing aids. That's why you're the most effective progressive? Bernie Sanders, yes, he's been a senator longer than her. He passed the most comprehensive veterans health bill in American history in a bipartisan fashion with, warmonger John McCain. He got $9 billion snuck into Obamacare for to expand community hospitals. He got $1.5 billion snuck into a 2007 immigration bill for a youth jobs program. He just, with Ro Khanna and a Republican, Mike Lee, got enacted the War Powers Act for the first time in American history. He got the Republicans to go along with that to stop America's involvement in the Yemeni genocide. Trump vetoed it, but Bernie Sanders, along with Ro Khanna, got that done. So if you're going to go after Bernie, it just defies logic that you're going after him by, I'm the more effective. No, as a senator, along with Hillary Clinton, her biggest accomplishment is naming post offices in Massachusetts. It's just absurd. So I think at this point, judging by Nina Turner's answer to you, listen, I love Nina, but that was a dodge for her standards. But I think Bernie Sanders...
I will say that she had staff there who were making sure she did not say too much.
Right, that's what I was about to say. I will say, I think at this point, I don't have any intel on this, but you probably saw it from her staff on the side. The viewers didn't see it. They were not overjoyed that we asked about Elizabeth Warren.
No, they were not.
if you're Bernie's campaign right now, why punch down? You're in the lead. You're the front runner. Let Elizabeth Warren go after Michael Bloomberg. As polls keep coming out, I would say over the next 7 to 10 days, you're going to see Michael Bloomberg probably lose 7 to 10 points. It was that bad during that debate. So thank you, Elizabeth Warren, for helping Bernie Sanders in that way. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to help her. And I just want to point out, and I'd love your thoughts, Jen.
Well, hold on. Before you get to this, I want to welcome new member Joan. Joan! Yay!
Joan! Member Joe!
Look, can you guys hear it? We have an Anat scream. Yay!
Yes, so we are now just 143 members away. 143 members away from hitting 1,500. And can I just make a plug?
Absolutely.
Jen? So I want people to understand why we are pushing so hard to get to this 1,500 number. It's not like an arbitrary thing. Like Jen and I have crunched the numbers. Iowa, New Hampshire, we went to both. Now Nevada, don't forget, we just went to South Bend, Indiana like a month ago. All of this costs a hell of a lot of money. And we do not have any big funding. So essentially why we're saying if we don't hit 1,500 members by the end of the caucus, we will not have the funding to go to South Carolina, which frankly, if Bernie Sanders wins Nevada, which I think he's going to at this point, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but it looks like he's going to, I think we need to be on the ground in South Carolina. I mean, for all intents and purposes, if he's even competitive in South Carolina, they're going, the fuckery that they are going to try and rob him in South Carolina will make every other fuckery you've seen before then look like child's play. But the bottom line is, like, we can't print money and we have to make choices. So we don't have, technically, do we have the funding to go to South Carolina? Yes. But if we go to South Carolina, then we don't have the funding for Super Tuesday. So you got to kind of make choices when you don't have corporate sponsors. So our choice would be, let's cover South Carolina. If we don't get to 1,500, let's cover South Carolina from home. So we could then go to either California, we're thinking right now, maybe Texas on Super Tuesday. Unfortunately, we just don't have the funding yet to cover them all. So we're just being transparent. That's why we need to get to certain benchmarks, 1,500. To tell you the truth, Jen, shit happens that, the audience might not know. On the campaign trail, we probably would have been at 1,500 members, but unfortunately, on the night of the New Hampshire primary, our live view didn't work.
Yeah,
we probably would have gained another 50 to 100 members just that night, but we had a hardware issue. Fortunately, we got that fixed. So anyway, sign up, statuscoup.com/join. Last thing I'll say about Elizabeth Warren, I think that Elizabeth Warren, can you imagine for a second if Bernie Sanders, his entire message, the entire campaign, I don't take money from super PACs, I don't take money from lobbyists, I don't take money from, billionaires, blah, 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 blah. And then, a week ago, on the debate stage, if Bernie Sanders said, Amy and I are the only ones without a super PAC, which, by the way, was a lie. Elizabeth Warren was lying then. Bernie Sanders doesn't have a super PAC. The media has tried to make it seem that our revolution is a super PAC for Bernie Sanders. However, our revolution does not do anything for Bernie Sanders. They don't do television ads for Bernie Sanders. They don't do digital ads for Bernie Sanders. If you want to call tweeting a super PAC, okay, but Bernie doesn't have a super PAC. So I'm just pointing out the corporate media, Elizabeth Warren has completely reversed in the span of a week the entire core argument for her campaign, which is I'm against corruption, I'm anti-corruption, and the media is basically letting it just sit there. I mean, Erin Burnett brought it up during her town hall last night. Warren basically pretended she didn't just flip-flop her entire campaign, and then they moved on. So the double standard of the corporate media, they're letting Elizabeth Warren slide because this is the wink and a nod culture of the corporate media. Corporate media doesn't care if you're consistent as long as you're a corporate hack. And Elizabeth Warren, the little respect I still had for her, it's quickly leaving my sick body. By the way, I'm feeling slightly better today. Because what does Elizabeth Warren actually believe in? I don't know at this point. I understand that she's broke, but, when Bernie Sanders had a heart attack and people thought, oh, wow, he might have to drop out. Bernie Sanders didn't then be like, all right, I'll take super PAC help. Like, you see who people really are when it's hard, when it doesn't look like there's a way to win. And we're seeing who she is because she just totally reversed, in a span of a week, her entire core message. And just so people know, because the media is not reporting on it, I tweeted it yesterday,
her super PAC is run by 4 women. They're trying to make it into an identity politics thing. That this isn't a bad super PAC. This is a super PAC run by 4 women. So yay, yay, yay. All that. I'm not against women running anything, but let's see, who are these women? One of them was a big member of Hillary Clinton's 2016 super PAC. She was also the former policy director at Emily's List. Emily's List is against Medicare for all. Emily's List, it was basically caught. They were about to just go on the air with hundreds of thousands of attack ads against Bernie Sanders. The other woman leading her super PAC is the former head of the DCCC, which the DCCC is the Democrat congressional campaign thing that has basically put out a bullseye on any primary opponent to incumbent Democrats. So Elizabeth Warren's super PAC, it's not like her super PAC is from the Girl Scouts of America. These are establishment corporate hacks running her super PAC. So sorry, I'm a little long-winded. I haven't been able to go live for a few days, but it's just, and honestly, if she gets in second place in Nevada, I think it's a good thing if you're Bernie, because Biden's going to be needing an oxygen tank politically to win South Carolina at that point. But it just shows you, Elizabeth Warren, it shows you the difference between Elizabeth Warren and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I think when you look at the two, Elizabeth Warren, when she entered the Senate in 2012, I loved her. I know you did too. I think she had real vision. I think she had real integrity. But when you're in the swamp too long, there's 2 types of people. Bernie Sanders, who must have some type of repellent, where even though you're in the swamp that long, he just doesn't fall in. Or you're Warren, and you move over more towards the neoliberal side. And that's clearly what is happening here.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Okay.
Any other thoughts you want to leave us with?
Yes,
what do you think?
I would.
Okay.
By the way, keep signing up as members, statuscoup.com/join. I also think that there is, I know you're going to report on some of the things you've been hearing on the ground there, but I also think, let's not get ahead of ourselves because the Nevada caucus is tomorrow. This hasn't gotten a lot of attention, but the Nevada Democratic State Party has come out and said, oh no, we're not guaranteeing that you're going to have the results tomorrow.
Yeah,
So,
we're going to talk about that.
To me, listen, why should we think that the Nevada Democratic State Party is any less corrupt than the Iowa State Democratic Party? Why should we think that the Democratic National Committee doesn't have their hand in the cookie jar here too? So even if it's not as corrupt in Nevada,
Well,
if Bernie Sanders is going to win, it makes sense to me. Well, let's just deprive him of the victory speech that night. Let's deprive him of the momentum like we did in Iowa. So let's just take our time. We'll release the results maybe the next day, maybe 3 days later.
well, you say it might not be as corrupt as Iowa, and I won't repeat certain things that I've heard because I can't journalistically confirm them. But some of the things that I have heard from people who would know on the ground in Iowa from 2016, they did some really shady things to literally prevent Bernie caucusers from caucusing.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So the corruption is, it's strong.
And by the way, Jacob, I love your chat. Tell Jordan we ain't effing with him anymore. We ride with Jen now.
Love that.
I'd love to retire to the Caribbean right now. We just got to grow our members. So, I know, obviously you'll report it because you're there and I'm not, but I'm just letting Bernie Sanders supporters know. It seems to me they're signaling they're not going to release the results on the day, tomorrow. And that could have a suppressive impact for South Carolina. South Carolina is 22nd, I think it's 7 days after the Nevada caucus, but it all makes a difference. So usually you get to come out that night and declare victory, and you get a big bump in the media the next day. And that's what people in the next state are seeing, and they see it in their newspapers if you're in South Carolina. They see it on CNN. They see it online. but they're already signaling they're not going to do that. The other thing is, listen, like you said, we can't verify everything, but there are reports of issues with ballots getting tossed, those kind of things. Jen's chasing leads while also going live. It's not easy to do both, but expect fuckery. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Yeah, I think I'm nervous for sure about what's going to happen tomorrow. I've made a lot of contacts here, so I have people who are going to be texting me things that they see along the way, and we've applied for credentials to get into certain caucus areas. So we will definitely be on the ground reporting like crazy tomorrow. So everyone, please stay tuned. Look for when we go live. We'll be sending texts and making announcements and things like that. And
might I add one more thing?
Of course.
And I just, I love saying this, so I had to get it in.
Uh-huh.
Don't forget about Dirty Harry.
Oh, absolutely.
This is Harry Reid territory.
Yep.
And, to be respectful, he's got cancer. He's not doing so well, so, we wish him well. But, politically, Harry Reid is no friend of the progressive movement.
No, and he pulls all the strings in Nevada, for those who aren't familiar with his role.
Harry Reid, they call it the Reid machine in Nevada. So even, there could be a lot of shenanigans being pulled by Dirty Harry there. I'm saying Dirty Harry, the movie reference. There could be a lot of strings because Ryan Grimm just pointed this out. In 2016, Harry Reid said, I'm going to endorse the winner of the Nevada caucus. Ryan Grimm just asked him, are you going to endorse the winner of the Nevada caucus this time around? No. Why? Maybe the winner of the Nevada caucus this time around he doesn't particularly agree with politically. So Harry Reid runs things. When I say run things, I mean if the results are going to be delayed, Harry Reid is going to have a hand in that. And it might not even be, for example, with the mafia, it's not always the boss making the calls because the boss's consigliere, the boss's lieutenant, know what the boss will want done. So they just do it. So that's my point. There might be things being done that we don't know about behind the scenes, strings being pulled that, Harry Reid has a hand in. The other part of that, which could be a positive, Bernie Sanders' campaign does have a lot of former Harry Reid people in it. And they did that. A lot of people were like, why does Bernie have all these Reid people? They're not stupid. They did it because they knew Nevada would be important. And they wanted to kind of, sometimes you got to sit with the devil and make a deal. So they've made inroads. Fez Shakir, Bernie's campaign manager. I don't know if he worked for Harry Reid, but I think he has in the past either worked for Harry Reid or there was some type of relationship there. So let's hope that Harry Reid is actually staying out of it, but I don't want to be naive.
No, yeah.
I just wanted to bring that up so our audience knows, he's still kicking. We wish him well health-wise, but politically, he's not exactly down with just like, let the best man or woman win. He wants to influence things. And finally, so I'll go, because I could go on all day, Please, folks, if you are a member already, we appreciate your membership. You could also support us, with one-time donations, Super Chat, PayPal.me/status coup. By the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but like every text message we send is costing us like $50 at this point. Jen can explain it more.
Yep.
There's a lot of costs you don't know about. So statuscoup.com/join and become a member. Or if you're already a member, drop a super chat, drop a donation at PayPal. That's paypal.me/statuscoup. Jen's working super hard out there. And Jamal. So definitely support us if you can. And I know Jen is going to be live a little bit later as well, which she'll tell you about. So I'll get out of your hair now, Jen, and you can keep going.
Thanks for calling in, Jordan. Hope you feel better. Bye. There we have it. Oh, my My phone froze for a second there. Yeah, there we have it. I agree with everything Jordan said. And it's interesting that he brought up Harry Reid, because I've been reading up a lot on Harry Reid. And of course, Harry Reid played an incredibly significant role in 2016. And, obviously prior to that. But just, as I said, I can't report specific things that I've been told. But the extent that they went to prevent Bernie Sanders supporters from caucusing was absurd. And I want to remind you, so you guys have all heard about this culinary union kerfuffle, where the leaders of the culinary union came out basically against Bernie Sanders because of Medicare for All. And they sort of convinced a lot of their members that Bernie would be taking something from them in their form of healthcare, because these culinary workers, this union, spent a lot of time negotiating their contract for their healthcare. Hard won, hard fought. They like their healthcare. So now they're being told, well, Bernie Sanders is going to take that from you. And so they're trying to kind of stack the deck against, well, I guess stack the deck is a good term to use in Vegas, but they're trying to stack the deck against Bernie Sanders. And remember that a caucus is public. So all of your coworkers and your bosses can see who you are caucusing for. So even if you support Bernie Sanders and you have a boss or a union leader or someone you know is going to snitch on you, what are you going to do? Potentially get repercussions. Maybe, you wouldn't directly lose your job for this because that would be highly illegal, but there are repercussions that would happen. There might be other reasons you lose your job if they see you caucusing for the wrong candidate. And in this case, with this Harry Reid machine, Bernie Sanders is absolutely the wrong candidate. So this is all public. This affects how people caucus. This affects people's jobs. So it's definitely a lot of interesting things going on behind the scenes. Let me reopen YouTube and look at some super chats here. I know we've had some coming in. 1 second. It's definitely hard to scroll through as they go. Okay, so scrolling back up to the latest one I haven't read, Progressive Martian, $2 in the super chat. Did you guys ever release your huge story? So we will have news about that very, very soon. We are trying our best to get things moving along with our editor and with this corporate outlet that it will be published in. We are doing our absolute best. And there are kind of other timelines that we're running up against, so it needs to be published basically right away. So we're going to figure that out, but that's all the news that I can tell you so far. Ryan Corinth, $4.99 in the super chat. The entire field saying that the person with the most votes shouldn't win is disqualifying. That would be the end of our party. I agree. So they're talking about, the end of the debate where they asked if there should be a contested convention if someone doesn't come away with enough delegates in the convention. And everybody except Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is his thought. He's obviously against superdelegates who kind of come into play in the second round now, which was hard fought by Bernie and others, so that would even be part of the process. But whoever gets the plurality of votes should win, should then get even on the set with the superdelegates, should get that vote, should come away with that ticket out of the convention as the nominee. But all of the other candidates, except for Bernie, answered in the opposite way, meaning they want a contested convention in the way that it's possible for any of them to win, even if they don't get the plurality of delegates. So it's a mess. I agree. And if this convention turns into a mess, I can't even imagine what it would do to the party, what it would do to Bernie Sanders supporters, especially if he is indeed the one who comes away with that plurality of delegates. So, good point by Ryan. Scrolling. Anna Maxa, $5 in the super chat. Please become a member. You'll be empowering non-corporate media and real investigative journalism, on-the-ground interviews in the field. Yes, thank you so much. It's such a good point. Become a member. Get either a phone call shout-out or a video shout-out from Jordan and myself. statuscoup.com/join. Plus, you'll get all the extra content, but the video shout-out and the phone shout out, that's only for those who joined today and tomorrow, because we're really, really trying to hit that goal. We're 143 members away from that 1,500 member goal. Please join right now. Let's see here. Super chats. Keep those super chats coming. They help us so much. Kelly Elaine, $100 in the super chat. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Keep bringing the truth forward. We absolutely will, Kelly. We will never stop bringing the truth forward. That's what we are all about here at Status Coup. 100%. I promise you, that is what we will do. We will always stick to our guns on that for sure. Really, really appreciate that. Keep the memberships coming. And I know that we have a lot of people here in the who are watching who are already members. So you can support us in other ways too to help ensure that Jordan can go to South Carolina. So go to paypal.me/statuscoup and you can support at any amount that you want to. We've had people leave $1 or $5. We've had people leave hundreds of dollars through the PayPal, and it helps so much. I cannot even explain. It's so expensive to travel. It's thousands of dollars because you have rental cars or Ubers, hotel rooms, and food. We have to eat, which we still we have to do. Poor Jamal is hungry right now, so we're gonna grab something after this. But the costs really add up. The cost of equipment and the cost of just there's so many little things that you don't think about. But it's so important on the field, and we couldn't do this on the ground reporting without you. We truly love all of you. It helps so much. So either become a member, statuscoup.com/join, or support us at any amount, paypal.me/statuscoup. If you'd like to support us in another way, maybe you don't use PayPal, just write us at info@statuscoup.com and we can point you in a couple of other directions, including our GoFundMe, which you can find at gofundme.com/status-coup-news. Thank you so much. Okay, so I don't even know when we started, but I have a couple more important points to go over as we head into the caucuses, which are tomorrow. So the Nevada caucuses are tomorrow. So this one here is a Data for Progress poll that came out on the 17th. So this is I think the second to most recent poll that we've had. And memo, Sanders has strong lead in Nevada. And key findings, Senator Bernie Sanders has a commanding 19-point in the Nevada caucus. I think they meant 19-point lead. 19-point in the Nevada caucus with 35% of likely caucus goers supporting him. So that is huge. It's absolutely fantastic. He's followed by Senator Elizabeth Warren, former Mayor Pete Buttigieg, and former Vice President Joe Biden, who are all tightly clustered at 16, 15, and 14 percentage points respectively. Amy Klobuchar is at 9%. And this is an important point that I think gets lost. Sanders performs well, extremely well, with Hispanic likely caucus goers, registering 66% support. And remember that Nevada is the very first diverse state that has a caucus or a primary. So Iowa, New Hampshire, largely white population. This is a diverse state. So this is much more representative of the country as a whole. And you can see that Bernie Sanders comes away with an extremely large percentage of support among Latinos. So Democratic voters also strongly support both Medicare for All at 69% in support and a Green New Deal, 93% in support. So that's amazing. Those are Bernie policies. It's incredible. You can see here they have a chart showing that also so the darkest purple here represents Bernie Sanders support. So under 45 age group, 64% support Bernie Sanders. That shows you if we get that youth turnout, then Bernie Sanders will come away very strongly out of Nevada. And again, we have the 66% support among Hispanic or Latina, and ideology, very liberal, 54% for Bernie Sanders. So those are very strong numbers. Again, that was the 17th. So we also have the very newest poll, which is 8 News Now, local, and Emerson College, which shows, again, that Bernie Sanders is the front runner in Nevada. So this one comes away slightly differently. And it's important to note that Nevada is historically very difficult to poll. And okay, 1 second. We have some breaking news from Jordan that I'll get into in just 1 second after I go through this. So in this poll, which is again the most recent poll with the caucuses being tomorrow, Bernie Sanders at 30.4%, Pete Buttigieg actually in second here, 16.9%, and Joe Biden at 16.1% support. And then we have Elizabeth Warren at 12.1%, Amy Klobuchar 11%, Steyer 9.8%, Tulsi Gabbard 1.9%, and other is 1.8%. So this poll also shows Bernie ahead by quite a large margin. Of course, the rankings sort of the others are different, but overall, this shows that Bernie Sanders is likely to win tomorrow. But I know that the people who are here canvassing for Bernie, who are volunteering for Bernie, they are acting like they're 10 points behind. They are fighting for this. They aren't just saying, okay, Bernie's up in the polls, we're going to rest. These people are getting up early, staying out late, canvassing, phone banking, text banking. They are doing absolutely everything they can to turn out the vote for Bernie. They've done really, really great work around the diverse population to get that turnout. So it looks like tomorrow will be a victory, but no one's counting their chickens before they hatch. I think that's the phrase. So it's encouraging. It looks good for Bernie Sanders out of the latest polling. I think I saw another super chat. I did. It's from Andy P. Love Andy. $5 in the super chat. My birthday is Sunday, and all I want is for Status Coup to meet and exceed their membership goal and a big Bernie win in Nevada. Andy, happy birthday, first of all. I'm so excited it's your birthday. You are such a great supporter. Just love you to death. So everyone listen to Andy. She says, join us, statuscoup.com/join, or support us at paypal.me/statuscoup. And again, she's wishing for a Bernie win tomorrow, and it looks like that might be the case. So thank you so much again, Andy, for the super chat, and a very, very happy birthday to you. Okay, so now I will tell you the breaking news that Jordan just sent me. So breaking, Bloomberg to release 3 women from NDAs. If you'll remember, Warren had a great moment in the debate where she challenged Michael Bloomberg about these NDAs that he has that relate to sexual harassment and sexism at his company, Bloomberg LP. And he, maybe not shockingly, but it was disgustingly, he said, no, they entered into this agreement and it was best for both parties. And so, no, I'm not going to release them from their NDAs. And it was just a horrifying moment for a lot of people. I think it was his lowest point of the debate, just disgusting. So Bloomberg has tweeted, Bloomberg LP has identified 3 NDAs signed over the past 30 plus years with women to address complaints about comments they said I had made. Notice that he didn't say comments I had made. If any of them want to be released from their NDAs, they should contact the company and they'll be given a release. He links to a statement. I've had the company go back over its record, and they've identified 3 NDAs that we signed over the past 30 plus years with women to address complaints about comments they said I had made. If any of them want to be released from their NDA so that they can talk about those allegations, they should contact the company and they'll be given a release. I've done a lot of reflecting on this issue over the past few days, and I've decided that for as long as I'm running the company, we won't offer confidentiality agreements to resolve claims of sexual harassment or misconduct going forward. I recognize that NDAs, particularly when they are used in the context of sexual harassment and sexual assault, promote a culture of silence in the workplace and contribute to a culture of women not feeling safe or supported. It is imperative that when problems occur, workplaces not only address the specific incidents, but the culture and practices that led to those incidents, and then leaders must act. So it goes on and on. I won't read the entire thing to you, but clearly someone got to Bloomberg and said, what are you doing? You are not going to win no matter how much money you have if you don't offer to release these women from their NDAs. Now, keep in mind, I won't report on the specific number, but I believe it's over 40 lawsuits have happened. I don't know how many NDAs that there were, but there's a huge culture of this at Bloomberg LP. There's a huge, disgusting history of Michael Bloomberg saying sexist things, racist things, of even going to the point of sexual harassment with some of these people. The things he said are so disgusting. I reported on it previously, as did Jordan, that I don't even want to repeat some of these things because it's just so vile. So obviously some advisor got to him and kind of forced him to do this. It doesn't mean Michael Bloomberg's a good guy. Unfortunately, some people will probably be fooled by this move. I don't think many. I really think that he's tanked, and the only thing that can save him now is his money, which very well might be enough, which is really, really sad and disturbing, and a total kind of close look into what our society actually is. And our society is for the Michael Bloombergs of the world and not for the people of the world. So let's see here. Another breaking story from Jordan. Oh my goodness, things are happening. Breaking, New York Times story indicates Joe Biden lied about being arrested in South Africa on his way to meet Nelson Mandela. Oh my goodness. In at least 3 campaign appearances over the past 2 weeks, Joseph R. Biden, one second, let me scroll back up, has told a similar story as he tries to revive his campaign in states with more diverse voters. On a trip to South Africa years ago, he has said he was arrested as he sought to visit Nelson Mandela in prison. This day, 30 years ago, Nelson Mandela walked out of prison and entered into discussions about apartheid, Mr. Biden said at a campaign event in South Carolina last week. I had the great honor of meeting him. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto, trying to get to see him on Robben Island. Mr. Biden referred to his own arrest twice more in the next 7 days, including at a campaign stop here on Tuesday, where he spoke of getting arrested in South Africa between efforts to coax his wife to marry him. That proposal occurred in 1977, both Bidens have said. But if Mr. Biden, then a United States Senator from Delaware, was in fact arrested while trying to visit Mr. Mandela, he did not mention it in his 2007 memoir when writing about a 1970s trip to South Africa, and he has not spoken of it prominently on the 2020 campaign trail. A check of available news accounts by the New York Times turned up no references to an arrest. South African arrest records are not readily available in the United States. Andrew Young, a former congressman and mayor of Atlanta, who was the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations from 1977 to 1979, said that he had traveled with Mr. Biden over the years, including to South Africa. But Mr. Young said that he had never been arrested in South Africa and expressed skepticism that members of Congress would have faced arrest there. Quote, "No, I was never arrested and I don't think he was either," Mr. Young, now 87, said in a telephone interview. Mr. Young added, quote, "Now people were being arrested in Washington. I don't think there was ever a situation where congressmen were arrested in South Africa." He emphasized his great respect for Mr. Biden, though he said he was currently supporting former Mayor Michael Bloomberg of New York for the presidency. So how many times have we caught Joseph Biden in such a disgusting lie? He lies about things all the time. Is this pathological? Does he not realize he's lying? He has to realize he's lying. These aren't little white lies or getting things slightly wrong or just having a memory lapse. These are outright lies. You were arrested or you weren't. This isn't something that's like, oh, I can't quite remember which it was. No, he is lying. In his previous campaigns, he was plagiarizing. He's lying all over the place. This is absurd, and it's no wonder that Joe Biden's support is dropping so rapidly. I don't know what this will do to his support from this point on, but it's just another add it to the pile of Joe Biden lies. Just completely absurd. I don't even know. So I'm going to keep talking about Nevada here. Please smash that like button if you haven't already. It helps more people see this video. Please also share the stream on all your social channels. Get it out there. Put it on all your subreddits. Put it on your Facebook groups. Talk about it in your Discords. I still don't really know what that is, but do it anyway. And talk about it in your Facebook groups. Everything. Whatever I didn't mention, share it everywhere. It really, really helps. And also remember, if you want a special video shout out or a phone call from Jordan and myself, please join as a member today or tomorrow. We are 143 members away from reaching our goal of 1,500 members so that we can send Jordan to South Carolina to report on the primary. And it's looking like, Biden is still ahead in South Carolina, but anything could happen. And you just heard Joe Biden has been caught in yet another lie. Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., stop lying. So let me see here. Get rid of this poll. There are some shenanigans afoot in Nevada that I definitely want to tell you about. So I'd reported on this earlier that Nevada Democrats originally said that they were not going to be telling people if their ballots had been invalidated. So for the first time, to back up a little bit, Nevada has early voting for the first time this year. It's over now. It took place across 4 days this past week. And they were able to vote. They had to choose 3 choices, their first choice, second choice, and third choice, so that it could be counted during the actual caucus event. But originally they said, if it's not signed or if there's something else wrong or if they didn't choose enough people to vote for on their first choice, second choice, third choice, then it would be invalidated. And remember, humans invalidate this. It's not, it's up to human discretion of whose ballot to invalidate. And they originally said, out of the comms director or the comms person out of the Nevada State Party, said, no, we're not going to tell people. We're going to send lists to the campaigns. Well, now it looks like they are notifying caucus goers. So the number of invalidated ballots is alarming. So Nevada, this is in the Nevada Independent. Nevada Democrats notify 1,000 early caucus goers of voided ballots, most for lacking a signature. The Nevada State Democratic Party is in the process of notifying roughly 1,000 early voting caucus goers that their ballots have been voided for errors just 2 days before caucus day. And remember, a lot of people vote early because they're not able to attend caucus day. When you attend a caucus, you have to take work off, you have to find childcare, you have to be there at a specific time. So it's not an easy thing. And a lot of people just can't make it, which is why the early voting addition was a really, really good thing. But now so many of these ballots are being invalidated. The voided ballots from the first 3 of 4 days of early voting make up about 2.8% of the 36,000 ballots cast over the 3-day period, with party officials still processing the 39,000 ballots cast on the 4th day of early voting. According to a party official, the overwhelming majority of ballots were voided for lacking a signature, with only about 60 ballots rejected for failing to make 3 presidential preference choices on their ballot. Again, I explained that they had to choose 3 people. The 3-choice rule had been a subject of concern and confusion who didn't understand the rule. And the rule was most likely to affect Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, as many of his supporters do not have a second or third choice candidate. So it's kind of interesting that most were voided for lack of signature versus lack of choosing 3 candidates. However, it looks like most were invalidated for lack of a signature. I don't know what else to say about this except for this is really upsetting to people, and there are so many. I mean, there should be some sort of process in there to double check and make sure that the signature was there or something, because 1,000 ballots out of that many, that's a large number. And Sarah Mahler, chair of the Washoe County Democratic Party, in a Facebook post attributed the voided ballots, to human error. People will be very upset because they do not want to or cannot attend the caucus. They waited in line for a long time. In early voting, many people waited in line for hours. So She goes on to say, at least they were being notified and the campaigns have been notified. We are humans and humans make errors. I am so sorry if there was a mistake on any ballot. The volunteers I personally worked with worked diligently to have the process go as well as possible. So who actually knows why these ballots were voided? Who actually knows if everyone whose ballot was voided is going to be notified in enough time? I think probably not, especially, they didn't have the fourth day counted. So it's disturbing. We're going to keep an eye on this. They are actually, the way the process works is that they are actually not really counting this until caucus day. So they're counted as if they're there physically with their first choice. So if their first choice doesn't reach the threshold, then their second choice, they are counted in that caucus. So that's the way it works. But, so not only are these early voters maybe not being notified in time, we also may not even know when these results will be out. So welcome to Iowa 2.0. Democrats won't commit to same-day release of Nevada results. This is out of AP. Democrats won't commit to releasing the unofficial results of Saturday's Nevada caucuses on the day of the vote as they emphasize accuracy over speed. Oh, that's another thing we heard out of Iowa. It's all about accuracy, except for in Iowa, they had so many ridiculous mistakes that it was absurd. And Bernie Sanders' campaign is having to ask for a recount in certain precincts because even though the state party said they care about no errors, they made a ton of errors. So looks like that may happen again in Nevada. We'll keep an eye on it for sure. Tom Perez, chairman of the Democratic National Committee, told the AP that several factors, including early voting and potentially high turnout, could affect the tabulation and timing of results. In addition, Nevada, like Iowa, will be reporting 3 sets of data from the multi-stage caucus process. Perez said he doesn't know when results will be released. We're going to do our best to release results as soon as possible, but our North Star, again, is accuracy. Oh, really, accuracy, because you guys, again, cared about that so much. Nevada Democrats are hoping to avoid a repeat of the chaos that ensnared the Iowa caucuses this month. Unlike the November general election and state primaries that are run by state and local election officials, the caucuses are administered by state parties. Election officials in general have been raising concerns about public expectations to report results quickly. So they're really setting expectations now so that it is not going to be released quickly. If they set up expectations now, that's a lot better than bungling the reporting like they did in Iowa and having everybody question what happened. Again, they're prepping us for a slow or no release of these results. They go on to say, talk about the potential tool, which we'll have a lot to say about. They talked about the training and the way that Google Forms were used for early voting. So this article is interesting. I'll try to remember to drop it in the chat. But basically, they're preparing us for what's to come, which is probably no results. I'm disturbed by that. I don't know what will happen. Of course, nobody does. I'm going to be wrapping this up in a little bit, but I want to tell you about the upcoming polls because again, we want to get Jordan to South Carolina, we want to get Jordan to California, and we need your support. So please go to statuscoup.com/join. You'll get either a special call or a special video by Jordan and myself. It'll be so much fun. We really want to get to 1,500 members, so join us now. If you're at statuscoup.com/join. If you're already a member, you can support us at paypal.me/statuscoup at absolutely any amount, and every amount helps. Keep those super chats coming. Okay, now, the California Democratic primary, and this is quite small. I'm so sorry. It'll be difficult for you guys to see, but the California Democratic primary shows Bernie at the lead. So the RCP average of polls has him at 27% and Biden at 15.3% in California. As far as South Carolina, this is a bit of a different story because this is Biden territory. But take a look at this. Biden is at 24.5%. Bernie is right on his tail, and in some cases, this would be within the margin of error at 20.8 points. So imagine if Jordan is able to get there on the ground, report what's going on in South Carolina, report on anything that's happening, any shenanigans that are happening. Imagine if Bernie Sanders pulls that out, what it would be like to have status quo on the ground, talking to the volunteers, talking to the people who are voting, getting the real feel for what's going on, getting the truth, just telling it like it is. Having Jordan on the ground there will be absolutely extraordinary. So I'll make another plea for you to please join to get Jordan to South Carolina. statusquo.com/join. I really, really appreciate you guys. We are actually tonight going to a Bernie Sanders rally where he'll be there, and some of his surrogates will be there. I'll have to look at the full list, but it's a get out the vote caucus rally, so it should be really, really fun. We'll be live. We'll be interviewing people. It'll be lots of a great time. The energy will be very, very high. It is caucus eve, so it starts around 7. I think the event it opens at 7. I think the event's around 8 o'clock. So we'll be alive. Remember, this is Pacific time. I'm used to East Coast time, but this is Pacific time. So definitely it'll be late on the East Coast, but so worth it to watch. Definitely stay tuned. We'll be notifying you. And I will talk to you soon. Keep sharing our stuff. Watch our stuff from earlier. Jamal, do you have any last thoughts? Okay, so we'll get Jamal on later for last thoughts. All right, guys. Love you guys bunches. Please join as a member. It helps so much. All right, peace out.